All right, so I came outside here real quick because I want to show you guys something. I picked this up yesterday in Oklahoma. My dad, he had an old engine sitting in his yard, and it's a 454 big block, as far as I know. So what I'm gonna do is go and get the casting number, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull these plugs and see if I can't turn this thing over. So this still has the bell housing and everything on it from a manual transmission. Plan is take all that off, take the flywheel off, and I need to order a flex plate. Put that on there. And the plan is put a new intake. I'd like to go through it a little bit before I end up putting it in the bus, because once it's in the bus, it's going to be a pain to get it out. So I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. So here's the engine here. Like I said, we still got the bell housing and everything. We're going to take all that out. It's not going to be in there. I'm not running a manual transmission. It's going to be the automatic. I think I have my hands on a turbo 400 transmission. I'll just end up putting it on it. But this intake, it needs to be a lot taller. So if I can find a tunnel ram, sweet. If not, I'll just put like kind of like a mid-rise or high-rise or something like that, whatever I can get my hands on. I'm not trying to buy new. The idea is to do this as cheaply as possible, and luckily Dad had this thing sitting and I didn't have to buy it. He said take it. He said I'm gonna offer it one time, and it was actually gonna go in an old square body, but it's gonna have a little bit different life now. So anyways, I'm gonna take all this junk off here, see if I can't turn this thing over. So I'm looking at these plugs here, and one of my worries was whether or not there's going to be rust inside those cylinders. I'm looking at the plugs, and there's one, there's another one, but it doesn't look like there's hardly any rust on these, on the inside. And a lot of times whenever these engines rust, they can do it with condensation, or, I mean, if they have any area where water can get in. And, well, there is a little bit on that one. But what happens is they'll rust these cylinder walls, and then it'll have rust in the rings to the cylinder walls, and it's very hard to break them free whenever you do that. A lot of times you can dump some transmission fluid in there, kind of let it seep through there, and it'll end up breaking those free. But anyways. Looking at this is very, very, very promising. So a lot of times, well, whenever I was saying, whenever rust builds up, you're going to get a lot inside these valleys. And, I mean, you're going to have buildup and stuff. But this engine looks very clean from the top end. I will know more when I do take a couple more parts of this off. But Well, when took some more apart on this engine, I didn't leave off in that video. I was videoing it all, but at least I thought it was. I guess I didn't hit the button. So, but when we got cleaned up and crap like that, but what I found out earlier is there is some bad to this engine. All right, so all this looks okay up here wise. Now, I was trying to turn this engine over. I can only get it about a turn and a half before it locks up. With doing that, I looked at the cam and whatnot. I mean, everything looks pretty smooth there. But then I looked inside these intake valleys, or the intakes for the valves and whatnot, and the exhaust, and they are in very, very rough shape. That's probably one of the worst ones right there. So, with saying that, whenever I'm trying to turn this engine over, as much moisture as there is in these valves, it is very likely that it got down into the cylinder. And I can also tell that because whenever I dropped this pan, there was oil in it, but there's quite a bit of water that came out too. But looking up in there, everything still looks okay. I did see a little bit of surface rust in the cylinder walls. I did see some surface rust in there, which isn't a big deal. Now, I talked to my engine builder, Dykus down in Catoosa. He's done the last two engines for me. He's done the, well, he did the Volkswagen engine, and he did the Braxton truck engine. Both of those engines they're phenomenal. So, I could take this apart and take the heads off, hone the cylinders, and try and mess with the heads by myself, but the only crappy part about that is this bus is basically being built around the engine. Once I put the mounts in and drop the engine in, I'm putting the floorboard, the firewall, everything else is going back on. And to take that engine out and to put it back in is going to be a lot more difficult. So before I stab this engine, I'd like to have it running right the first time. And not that I don't trust myself, but as great as a job that Dykus has done on the last ones, I feel a lot more comfortable bringing this to him and letting him do it. So I'm going to button up the oil pan, get all that stuff back on, and bring that up there to him. So, but I called him earlier, and he said that there's a big possibility that it got into the cylinders, and I don't want to chance it. I want to do this right. So I'm going to get this thing buttoned up and load it in the truck, and I will keep you guys updated on it and everything. So until then, I mean, that's about it on the engine. So anyways, thanks for watching.